Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Whiskey and We, episode 28. I hope y'all are having another great week. I went to see Endgame, finally, and you know what? It didn't feel like it was 3 hours. As long as the movie was, it kind of went by pretty quick, and it was good. Um, I think Infinity War was better. I think Endgame really focused on like the storytelling, and then I mean when it dips into any movie that dips into time travel, it raises like a little eyebrow with me because I'm like, okay, this movie can go one or two ways. It could be really good, or it could be just confusing as fuck, and I don't know what's going on. I think Endgame really stayed within that range of trying to keep the audience intact of what's going on, but it's very tricky sometimes when movies try to dip into this whole time travel. But the movie was good. I didn't think it was as action packed as I was expecting it to be. Like I said, I thought Infinity War was a lot better. I didn't really get to see much of the action until the end where it was just the big scene, and I felt like that lasted a good 20-25 minutes. Honestly, it was epic, of course, nonetheless, but I just felt like a lot of scenes and a lot of things could have been shortened. It could have been a shorter movie, but overall good movie. Like, I enjoyed it. It's just, yeah, I was like, okay, some things I had to go back on and remember, like, I mean, I don't want to do any spoilers. I don't know if y'all have seen it or not, but I think at this point, everybody should have seen it because that's been the talk, and I've been doing my best to bite my tongue, but I guess I'll include in the caption a few spoilers. But, Captain America grabbing Thor's hammer, I had to kind of go back on that, like a few movies to understand. I'm not the biggest geek when it comes to Marvel movies, but I do highly enjoy them. The X-Men and everything, even the DC. So I'm not the comic book fan. I'm not at that level, but I really get into like the storylines and the characters and all the different powers and everything. So it brings out the inner kid in me. But yeah, it was good seeing everybody come back. I didn't know who was gonna die or not. It kind of was a sad ending, I'll say. I thought it was pretty amazing though that they gave such a farewell to Iron Man, especially with Iron Man being like the first movie that started like the whole Marvel franchise. But yeah, it was a good movie. No scene at the end. I think it was just some clanking of iron, probably also affiliated with Iron Man. Because I did my research and I just Googled because I didn't feel it. The movie was so long to begin with. I just Googled in credits and what it was about. So I didn't even get to sit there and witness it. But a lot of people were having the theory that it relates to Iron Man building his first outfit. So I can see why that would be true. But yeah, you definitely get a hand clap. I thought the movie was good. So now we can jump into What's the Whiskey Friend? And what we have for this week. So we can start off with the Met Gala. And what I would do in this setting is that I would just go over my top 3 looks of the Met Gala. I'll be honest, I was told that the theme was camp, and I get that it's in like over the top, dramatic type theme, but in all honesty, I didn't know what the hell was going on at this Met Gala. I just felt that I felt very overwhelmed with everybody. There was a lot of people obviously doing over the top, but it was just so many different looks and so many different personalities and stories within these outfits. I just felt so overwhelmed and confused at one point. I was like, I don't know, it's just too much going on with what everyone's wearing, and I don't see a cohesive look between everyone like years before where the theme was the trail behind the outfit. And I remember seeing a lot of that from Rihanna to whoever else. And I'm like, okay, I can clearly understand that there's a theme and I know what the theme is. This one, I was just scratching my head. I mean, I saw some a lot of amazing outfits, but still, I was like, I don't know what's going on because I feel like I see glamour and then I see completely off the wall looks, and I'm still trying to understand the theme to this day. But nonetheless, like everybody looked great. I'm not gonna do a bottom three. I don't want to like discredit anybody. I think they all, everybody looked good. But my top three that really caught my eye and my attention, one being Billy Porter, of course, because he shows up and shows the hell out. And I don't care what anybody says. Like, he definitely makes a statement with his outfits, from the tuxedo gown that he wore to now this Eagle Horus. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was definitely, if you're going to do it, then do it big and definitely come through. Like, make people remember you, make people won't forget, and he's going to be the talk. He had the golden wings, just elegant. I didn't even know it was him when I first saw the picture, and being carried in, on the bed, being lifted by the guys, the servants or whatever. I didn't know who it was until I zoomed in and I was like, oh shit, that's Billy. That's Billy doing the goddamn thing again. And he looked fire. Like I said, make a statement. If you're going to do it, go all the way and don't half-ass it. And he definitely caught me off guard. I was like, damn, like he did that. So big applause, big hand clap, pat on the back to him. My second is Ezra Miller. And Ezra Miller really shocked me. Another one who I didn't know exactly who it was. And if you guys haven't seen Ezra Miller's look, I advise you go check it out. I didn't realize it was the guy, Ezra Miller, the guy from Flash, the guy that plays Flash in the DC movies. He came with the most trippiest look I felt of the night. I'm still tripped out just looking at it. He came with the eyes, the 3 eyes on the forehead, the 2 eyes under his actual eyes. Just the outfit I thought was amazing. I thought it represented a portion of masculinity and then also a portion of feminine, and with the handheld face, I was like, I was confused, but in a good way, because I was like, damn, that's trippy as hell. And he definitely made it up into my top three. So good job to coming in and showing out just like Billy Porter did. My third one, I'm going to give it to Lupita, because I just thought she looked goddamn gorgeous. And skin on point. And I just think it's so amazing to see dark skin, dark features with light colors next to it. I feel like it complements each other so well. And when she came in with this neon, these pinks, these yellows, and these blues, and then to have the picks like in her afro, black excellence. Like, it was just so good. I felt like she fit the role just like Billy and just like Ezra. Campy, over the top. I had to give it to him. I was like, well, their looks I'm going to remember for sure, based off of the statement, based off of what they're wearing. And they are my top three. So I thought they did an amazing job. And everybody else did an amazing job too. I saw Lady Gaga. She did like 1,500 looks in one. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I just caught up via social media. And I saw that she came with the gown. She came out of the gown. And what I like about that is not so much what she was wearing, but I felt like a little nostalgic, because I felt like I saw the old Lady Gaga, like when she first came out and when she was on her crazy antics, but also creating some bomb ass music. So I got a little excited seeing her in that element, because it kind of just made me feel like, okay, maybe she's going to come out, go back to her roots with her next album, because she's gone, the very jazz type of way, the very acoustic way, and music's still good, but it was nowhere near that, the pop music that she came out with Just Dance, like her first 2 albums. And I'm excited to see if she's going to keep this character and kind of bring back the old Gaga. So that's what really excited me. But I saw, Solange's outfit. I thought it was cute. I don't think it was really Met Gala worthy. I felt like that's something that she would wear out to a club. No disrespect. I did like her nails though. I like that she had the python scales on her fingernails, but it didn't wow me. She looked gorgeous, but it just didn't wow me based off of what she's always brought to the table. So I was a little underwhelmed when I saw that. I saw Katy Perry. She came as a chandelier and then transformed into a hamburger. Some people said that it was a shot at Trump on how he was serving McDonald's hamburgers to the football players in the White House underneath the chandelier. I don't know. I think she definitely pushes the envelope on her style and stepping outside of the box every time it's an event like this. But I was like, Lumiere, I don't know, is it a Beauty and the Beast theme? It was something. And then the hamburger thing just kind of threw me off. So man, I saw that. I also saw Kim K. Kim K looked good, but a few looks kind of reminding me of other looks like Kim K. Kim K, when I first saw her look, the first thing I thought of was the Beyonce look when she wore the latex, because it was kind of just the same color. I thought Kim K looked good. I thought her makeup was on point and she looked beautiful. And the dripping, detailing on the gown, the dress was pretty nice. But the first thing I did think of was Beyonce when I saw that, because it wasn't too long ago that Beyonce showed up with her latex gown. J-Lo, when I saw her, I thought of Rihanna, because I remember seeing Rihanna in an outfit like that as well, with the headpiece and the icicles and the dripping. So, but J-Lo can never do wrong in my eyes. She always does it. She always kills it. I feel like she's a fashion icon when it comes to what she wears and how she dresses herself. So overall, like, she looked beautiful. Who else did I see? That's probably about it that really caught my attention and that's really memorable. I mean, the Jenner sisters, they look okay. They look glamorous, but to me it wasn't campy. I thought Kylie looked way past her age. I mean, she looked good, but she looked so old in a sense of like her makeup. She looked like she was in her late 20s, if I have to be quite honest. Anyway, they all look good though. Cute, but like I said, completely thrown the fuck off on what is happening. Enough of the Met Gala though. Let's jump into this situation this week with Ayesha Curry that I've been hearing about. So I gotta pull up my notes for this because I'm gonna have to go back on everything that was being said. So we have Ayesha Curry. She appeared on the Red Table Talk this week, and she pretty much kept it real as far as how she felt when it came to her getting attention or lack thereof, and her husband Curry getting attention. So she goes on and she expresses her feelings about Steph's interactions with other women. She feels that he's always respectful, but he's very nice by nature and very talkative. And they've had plenty of conversations, I guess, revolving around this matter. She says during the interview, obviously, the devil is a liar and the ladies will always be lurking, hoping for their moment and waiting. You need to be aware of that, but for me, I honestly hate it. I don't like when I feel leveled off with someone. It just irks my nerves, and so we had the conversation about it, and he tries really, really hard to make sure that if we're going somewhere, I'm being introduced. I don't like to have to introduce myself. It irks my nerves, so I try to make that known, she continued, adding that there have been a couple times where she's wanted to punch somebody in the face for sure. So, I mean, this can be opinionated on many different levels, depending on the person, depending on the situation. I don't think there's really no right answer and no right way to feel about this. Ayesha admitted also to struggling with her own self-confidence from often feeling overlooked. She says, something that really bothers me and honestly has given me a little bit of a sense of insecurity is the fact that, they are like all these women. They are like all these women throwing themselves at them. But me, the past 10 years, I don't have any of that, she said. I have zero. It sounds weird, but like male attention is what she's referencing. So then I begin to internalize it and I'm like, is something wrong with me? I don't want it, but it would be nice to know that like someone's looking. So this has opened up a complete door of chaos, windows and all. And I have seen people dragging this poor woman. Why are y'all dragging this poor woman? I mean, to be honest, I feel like she has publicly opened up about something that we all kind of feel like, and don't sit there and act like you don't feel this way or you're not vulnerable to feeling this way or have ever felt this way. Like, let's be honest. I think to some level we've all kind of felt this way. I felt this way before in the past, where I feel like my significant other will get a lot of attention and no one is really showing me attention. And the fact that she's admitting that it's an insecurity that she's struggling with shows how human she is. So the fact that people are actually dragging her on social media is just, it's dumb. Like, it really is dumb. Don't sit here and act like you're walking around on water and you live in this perfect world, because we know you don't. So I think a lot of people are not trying to understand. A lot of people are bashing her, saying, well, you have a husband, you shouldn't be worried about that. And I think there's more to it than what people are failing to understand. I don't think it's about getting hit on. I think once again, it goes to that insecurity. It's just, she sees her husband getting all this attention all the time and just not getting that. Like, anybody would feel insecure if you're with someone who's constantly getting this attention, and then the fact that this person is also very nice. He doesn't really dismiss it in an aggressive way, and no one's asking him to. He doesn't have to be a jerk. But to her point, people be lurking, people be waiting, like they want what they can't have. And they'll keep trying to get that despite you being in a relationship or not. Like, some people just don't care. And that, it becomes a game to them even. Like, you're in a relationship, they want to try to see if they can take you away or get in the middle of that. Some people just have no respect and they don't care. But I get her point of that level of insecurity that we've all experienced. She's not getting any of that. I mean, I feel her. I can feel where she's coming from. I'm not going to sit here and bash the girl. You know, she had to kind of circle back around and respond to all the critiques that she was getting. So she says, I have never been one to cage my feelings and emotions to any capacity. I'm human. It brings me pure joy to speak my mind, be vulnerable at times, and to know myself inside and out. And that's what I respect a lot about her, is that she's saying what a lot of other people won't say. But yet, these are the people that are walking around acting like this shit don't stink, and they want to bash her and drag her and everything. I respect her for opening up, because I feel like it's a common thing to feel that way. I feel that's like one of the main insecurities, especially because we live in a digital social media world where, you know, it's all about being validated. It's all about getting likes and comments and boosting our egos, making us feel like we matter and we're important. That's the condition that this society has turned into now. So don't hate the girl for kind of just being honest and feeling that way. How do y'all feel about that, though? Do y'all feel she should have just kept her mouth closed? Do y'all feel she spoke up, she's being honest? You know, where are you at on the spectrum? I would love to hear how people see this and what their opinions are outside of everything that I've been seeing. I would love to definitely take in both debates and see where we can get some conversation going with this. But you know where I stand, and I just expressed it. So y'all leave that girl alone. Why y'all messing with her? Like, leave her alone. You know, I was like, damn, here come the memes. Here comes the bashing and everything. Like, this, people just can't live on social media anymore. Like, you can't say shit because they gonna come for that ass. Like, but I mean, damn. Like, sometimes she's expressing herself, and I get that, but sometimes you just got to be ready for how people are going to act. And that's the sucky thing about social media. When you put it out there, you can't expect everyone to always be on your team. Everybody's going to always have their opinion and their view and their voice to say what they want to say regarding your life. So I'm behind her. I don't think anything was wrong with that. I think you just got to see it from different angles and understand where she's coming from internally. So moving on, so let's talk about the Chase employee here in Mount Vernon, New York. We have a Chase employee that called the cops on their own mayor. So Mayor Richard Thomas of Mount Vernon recently discussed how staff at a local JP Morgan and Chase bank called the police on him. Can you guess what color he is? He's blue. No, he's black. Of course. Of course. When it involves calling police, 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, it's a black person being called the cops on. So staff member, I guess he went to the bank and he was depositing a 6-figure check. So the staff member, they called the police detective to come there because I guess they didn't trust him, or they felt that he was up to no good. Mind you, it's a mayor in a suit and everything, clean black guy, but the color of his skin and the fact that he has a 6-figure check prompts a Chase employee, who I'm assuming is white, I could be wrong, but we know how this story goes, feeling like already stereotyping a black man, a lot of money. Oh, must be a drug dealer. Oh, must be a gang member. I feel threatened. You feel threatened. So, they call cops because normally they feel threatened. So this person must have felt threatened at their job to do their job because this black man in a suit came with a 6-figure check. So you called. You didn't even take it up to management. I understand. I don't know. I don't work at a bank. I never have. I don't know. There could be protocols if it's a big check or not. But I assume that it's something that would have to be discussed with management and, maybe executives within the building or something. I don't think it's a standard to feel like you have to call the cops on someone for depositing a check. Like, especially if this person has done nothing to make you feel threatened. You call the cops. Like, it's so draining because it's, me saying this on the show in the past, it's always something, but sometimes it's like, damn, like this is really ridiculous. Like, you can't even bank while black, pretty much. You can't go in, you can't have a certain amount of money because this is how you're perceived as a black person in the United States, apparently. And you're supposed to have a cap on how much you make, how you present yourself. And if you go above that, then you're sketchy. Then something's wrong. You're up to no good. And you have to call the cops. Come to find out, this is the goddamn mayor of the city, of the county that you live in. Oh, what a bunch of dumb asses. When the officers arrived, they immediately recognized that it was the mayor, that it was Thomas, Richard Thomas. Thomas believes that race played a role in the phone call, obviously, because the 2 men that were with him, so it was 3 of them. So it was him and 2 other men. Could have been his assistants, could have been his bodyguards, but he explains how the 2 men that were with him were black and Hispanic. You have the mayor and you have 2 other men, a total of 3, and go into a bank to deposit this check, and the employee is going to feel threatened in a sense, all the way to the point where they have to call the cops. Just fucking ridiculous. So the mayor says, as a mayor and as a young, well-educated black man living during this turbulent time in society where police are being called on black people for going about everyday life, this is unacceptable. We've seen this happen to 2 black men at a Starbucks in Philadelphia. We've also seen this happen in Oregon. Representative Janelle, while she was campaigning. Now it happened to me. In a sense, I guess this is good because this happening to him will further push more vocal representation and more like activism within what's happening with this shit. And I mean, unfortunately, we, as much as we want it to happen to the nation, I would still be grateful if Richard fought highly for this within the county, because I mean, I'm in New York, so it's not too far from where I'm at. I pass it every day just to get to work. So it'll be great for him to take this and use this as fuel to always fight against what we're dealing with in America every day as black people. But it's just so goddamn stupid. Like, when are people going to wake up? And I really feel like they need to start finding these people and writing their asses tickets for wasting police time and tax dollars to call them because you feel threatened by powerful black men, by powerful educated black men coming in with money because they make more than your ass. So you feel threatened and you want to use that white privilege, which they do, because they know that at least I have that right to call the cops on them and express that I'm fearing for my life. I feel threatened, in hopes that they take this person to jail, or worse, possibly kill this person. So it's just ridiculous. But this person, obviously, this person better be handled. Because I'm sure, being the mayor, if I was a mayor, I'm coming after that ass. You ain't working at Chase no more, because you're not gonna. You did it to me, so you're not. I'm not. I'm gonna make sure this doesn't happen to any other civilian of color coming into this establishment. Or I'm gonna close this shit down and build a park for young black kids to play. So I'm hoping that he takes this and he makes this moment into something of pushback against this shit that keeps happening. So next. What I got last, I got this clip that I saw from the Family Hustle, and I wanted to pick everyone's brain on it. Very interesting, very, like, I don't know. I don't watch Family Hustle, but the clip has kind of gotten me to think, is this what people like in this generation of dating? So it was a clip of Reginae Carter and her daughter Toya having a conversation. And pretty much Reginae is like just getting on to her daughter about the way Toya, and I want to say it's Lucci, I don't know, because like I said, I don't watch the show, but pretty much Toya going over how her ex or her current boyfriend or whatever comes off very dominant in a sense. And she found it actually very cute that he would say things like, no, you're mine. And it goes under this like category of you're my property, or you're stuck with me. I think that's what was exactly said. So Reginae kind of gets on to her in the sense of like, that's what y'all like? Like, how is that cute? That's not cute. Like, you're not going to make it seem like you have this control over me. Like, I'm stuck with you, I can't get rid of you, because that is borderline crazy. So I want to know from the listeners how they view something like that. Do you think it's cute if you have a significant other that shows off that borderline crazy cuteness, where they say, oh, you ain't getting rid of me? Because I've heard it before too. Trust me, I've heard it before. I don't think it's cute. I think it is fucking crazy. And maybe because I'm just such a self-independent person, I don't like to be told that you have any kind of leverage or control over me, because it's a turn off for me. Maybe if I was younger, maybe when I was younger, I think it was cute. But now at this age, I don't want to hear that shit. It's a big turn off. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. If I want to get rid of your ass, I get rid of your ass. So it's interesting to see how the young generation, what they find attractive and what they don't find attractive. And I see a lot of this on social media of like how these boys are treating their ladies. And I'm telling you, chivalry is just, it's dead. It really is. I mean, you'll find rare pockets of it, but what I see and how disrespectful, I always get on to my brother and I say, don't you ever do shit like this to anybody you're dating. And he's always been respectful, even if it doesn't work out. But it's just curious to see, like, is this what people like now? Do people like that sense of control, that being passive and, you know, letting the other dominant figure control you in the sense of like he owns you, you're his property? Because that shit don't fly with me. Curious to hear what y'all have to say. Do y'all like that? Do y'all find it attractive? What are some do's and don'ts? Because that's just a don't. Like, I don't. And maybe it's just me being a male, and I'm not going to make it sound sexist, because I know a lot of my mom. I get it from my mom. My mom, you ain't controlling her. You ain't telling her what to do. She'll kick your ass. She'll show you where you can go. Take your ass on, and she'll send you right on your way pretty much. So I get a lot of that from her, that independent, I can carry my own. I definitely don't need someone thinking that they have a collar on me. But after watching this clip, it's obvious that, you know, the younger generation and some people in my generation as well still enjoy that type of dominant relationships and that type of dominant attributes in a person. So reach out to me and let me know. I would love to hear what y'all think when it comes to this situation. Very, very curious. So that wraps up What's the Whiskey Friend. Let's take a 2-second break for y'all. And when we come back, we're going to go into another interesting topic for keeping it real. And we are back. I hope you all enjoyed your break. I had to make me another cup of coffee because it's just one of those days. I need to find more like therapeutic sessions. I need to book this massage that I've been sitting on for a minute. And let me tell you, definitely take care of yourself, because when you just do so much work, and time flies, and then shit start cracking in places that you never knew could crack and bend and stretch, I am definitely feeling my age. But I'm a strong believer in kind of pampering. Like, as much as you work, you should pamper just as much, like do a massage or something every week. But I need to take my own advice, and I need to get my ass to a spa, and I need to get my hands and feet done. I need to get my back rubbed. I need my legs massaged. I need it all. I need the whole works, because my body is hating me right now. My body is going against me. Like, my knees ain't nothing nice. My knees are making noise just walking. I'm like, damn, I feel so old. I don't like this feeling. But, a little fish oil pill, lubricate the joints, a little stretching. I need to do yoga is what I really need to do. But all this talk, I need to make it happen. So definitely take care of yourself, and keep that energy up. So we have Keeping It Real. Keeping It Real, I want to go over an article that I read this week. Another debatable article on how people view it this day and age versus back in the day. And this article goes over spanking. So I came across this article from CNN that kind of went into where they see spanking now, what pediatricians and pediatrics are trying to recommend to parents, and what some cities are doing. And based off of like my view, I mean, I'll give my opinion after I read the paragraphs, but another topic, because it was very, very, very interesting just hearing this shit. And I knew a white person probably wrote it. No offense, but it definitely was not a black person that wrote this. So the article goes, years of research have shown that spanking children is ineffective and potentially harmful. These facts have led the American Academy of Pediatrics to recommend that parents not spank, hit, or slap their children. The statement from America's leading group of pediatricians with 67,000 members, recommending parents be encouraged and assisted in developing methods other than spanking to discipline kids. Pediatricians say we need to stop hitting our children in the same way in the name of discipline. And yes, spanking is just a euphemism of hitting children. We do not allow adults to hit each other, but for some reason, American society has decided it should be legal and even desirable for adults to hit children. We need to end this double standard and provide children with the same protection from hitting that is given to all adults. City leaders such as Wisconsin and Michigan have made their whole cities into no-hit zones. Just like no smoking zones, no-hit zones are enforced through social pressure to change behavior, not jail time. Initiatives such as no-hit zones, especially if paired with education campaigns about effective discipline, are good steps to change the national conversation about spanking. Spanking also teaches children that it is acceptable to use physical force to get what you want. It is thus no surprise that more children are spanked, the more likely they are to be aggressive or to engage in delinquent behaviors like stealing. Yeah, I kind of just summed it all up. Man, spanking kids. All right. So I just think some kids, and I mean, I've seen it. Like, you've ever been out in a public place and there's that one kid in the area just having a whole tantrum, and you in your head, you're like, that kid needs his ass whooped. That'll show him. I don't think spanking should go away altogether. I think it depends on the scenario. I think it depends on the type of spanking. I was spanked when I was a kid by my mom, by my grandmother, and my grandmother would go for the hand. Whoo, that's the worst. She would go for that vein. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, my grandmother didn't play. My mom, she would spank me too. And my mom, I think she had superpowers because there were times where I could have sworn I turned that corner of the living room running away, and yet the chanclata still hit me. So, and she's not even Spanish. My mom is white by pigment, black by soul. So, uh, but she had powers. Like anything she threw, it hit me. And I could be outside and she could be inside. That shit would still hit me. Her words would hit me. Like they came with a punch or a slap at the back of the head. Um, my mom, I don't regret any of that because looking back as an adult, I was a badass kid. I was this little light skinned mixed kid with silver caps, bad as shit, cute as fuck, but bad as shit. And I knew it. Looking back, I was spoiled and I wanted things my way. But I felt like I acted like any other kid. Like I didn't understand um a lot yet, but still, I was a badass kid. So my mom, there were times my mom wore my ass out. And my mom would do like the little pinch and twist when we were in public. Like, she wasn't going to make a scene, but she got my ass and she would perch her lips and be like, if you don't sit your ass down. I mean, those words, oh, man, oh, bringing me back. Just making my spine tingle and everything. Yeah, I think my mom did a great job disciplining me and beating my ass. I think my grandmother did a great job disciplining me and beating my ass. I just feel like there has to be some level of it because then they're saying that, spanking encourages kids to be aggressive or become involved in behaviors like stealing. I mean, I feel like when you don't discipline your child, it allows them to think that they can do whatever they want and they can just have everything their way. And it gives them kind of this selfish, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like arrogant kind of mindset growing up because they don't know how to, they're not used to being told no. And I see a lot of kids where they don't get spanked and the parents just give them whatever they want and they have a temper tantrum. I'm like, damn, you just need a good pop on the hand. You don't have to beat your child. You don't have to abuse your child. That's why I feel like, okay, it's borderline abuse. You don't got to abuse your child. But I feel that spanking is a necessary form of discipline, in my opinion. I just think there's levels of it. Don't be putting whelps and don't be like really going at it for the child, especially if it's a baby or, I've seen some parents where they took out the belt back in my day and they wore their children's asses out. Whew. Man, I feel bad for them. But to get rid of it altogether and to say that, it's a double standard that we don't hit adults, but we hit children, it should kind of be the same. I just feel like that's a tricky argument because children have a different mindset versus adults. Some adults need to be hit too because you're adults and you should know better. Some adults need to be smacked and slapped and punched because they do stupid shit without thinking, or they still think about it and still do stupid shit. But I think when it comes to children, the brain level, the adolescence is just not the same. Like the maturity is on two different fields. So some children you want to make sure during their moments of evolving and learning and growing, because when they're young, this is when they're trying to pick up words. They idolize everything you do as a parent and what's around them. You still want to make sure that they are understanding of discipline and rules to an extent so that when they get older they don't just feel like they can do whatever they want, because we do live in a society where there are rules and things you can go to jail for, you can get arrested for, so there are consequences for a lot of things. So you definitely want to discipline them in the sense of making sure they understand living in this country there are rules, you need to abide by them. Not letting them just grow up and have temper tantrums in a fucking public area. You got me looking like a fool. Oh, I'm wearing that ass out. I'm gonna wear that hand out. You gotta hit them in the good spots. Hit them like on the top of the hand. That's good. They'll know. They'll learn. But I'm not gonna sit there and let you embarrass my ass and be a spoiled bratty ass kid screaming and running amok and crying and being disrespectful at that. I've seen kids be disrespectful. and yell no at their parents and kick and scream. No, that's a you watch your mouth. You don't do that. And that's a 5 finger slap to the ass, to the butt. Like, wind it back. But like I said, levels. Like, don't be abusing your kids for sure. I wouldn't be an abusive parent, but I think I would kind of have a strict discipline on a child that needs to be disciplined. That if you're acting up and you're showing your ass, you need to learn that it's not acceptable. And if my words aren't piercing through and getting to you on, letting you know that you got to act right, then maybe my fingers will. And no, I'm not gonna hit a child in the face. Never, never hit a child in the face. I mean, sometimes you gotta hit that little lip, but you don't slap. Like, tap the lip. You gotta know your strength versus a child. You can't go full force with children, but you gotta tap that front lip and be like, no, like, you don't do that. You can go a little bit forceful on the hand. Give a little sting to it. Same with the ass. Give a little sting to it. But yeah, no, don't be hitting on the face. Don't be leaving no marks on children. It's a way to teach them, but not abuse them. You don't want to do it so extreme to where they do grow up having traumatic experience, because there are, negative kind of effects that come out of this. And I can see why pediatricians are really pushing towards no hitting, and why cities are doing this no hit zones. I get it, because it can definitely lead to a child growing up feeling unloved and feeling depressed, and there are those mental illnesses that come out of it. But like I said, I'm talking from my experience. I don't think any of my mental illnesses came out of the way my mom brought me up. My mom is my rock, and I love her to death. And the way she disciplined me, I agree wholeheartedly. And she didn't abuse me, but she definitely got my ass with the slipper when I acted up. When I thought it was cool to fight or disrespect elders or do whatever shit that just wasn't cool, she had every right as my mother to get my ass together, since I thought I was grown to make these decisions and do that and talk back. So it made me into the respectful man that I am today. So I believe that there should be a form of it. How do y'all feel though? I'm very curious to see, because I'm gonna say it right now. All my black friends, they got spanked when they was a kid. Grandma, auntie, whoever, they didn't play. And you have some friends. I was talking about this situation last week, and we were going over like whipping mechanisms and methods. And I was saying, like, my mom would have the slipper and would throw it across, and it would angle like a boomerang. The grandma or the mother would be like, go outside and pick a switch, and you better pick a good one. You don't want me to pick one. And I related so much to that, and I never experienced it, but I just felt it in my ancestors. Like, I related, like I was that person in my past life that had to go out and pick that switch, and you're trying to pick the most thinnest branch, but it has to be decent enough to where you don't get your mama outside picking one. So it was just a funny conversation, but so interesting on where we're going with this spanking, because I've heard of incidents where parents have disciplined their kids in public and people have approached them about it, and some people have called the police on them and they felt that it was abuse. So is it something that should be taken away? How would we discipline our kids these days? I mean, education, when you're dealing with children so young, I feel like there has to be a passive yet an aggressive way, not even aggressive, assertive way to discipline them, because not all kids are gonna, they're still learning the language, their native language. So they're not gonna necessarily comprehend, but through physical gestures to an extent, like a baby that goes and touches a stove that's hot. First reaction, pain, crying, fear, but the baby will know not to touch that stove again. So it's kind of like how we learn as humans and how we evolve just by nature. So curious to see what y'all have to say. I'm very open, and I want to hear even people's like upbringing and their experience with spanking. But I thought it was very interesting. Like I said, I know a black person didn't write this, because they know, like, yeah, that ain't the life I lived, and that ain't the life that I myself has lived. So keeping it real, is spanking a good thing now? Is it acceptable, or should we just get rid of it? I want to jump into me versus the media now, wrapping up the show. And the topic I would like to talk about for this segment is people who post videos of fights and violence. I never understood it. I think looking past the actual video, I think something about like in today's world, it's a form of adrenaline, and we love that part of entertainment. Like it's something like it's that itch that a lot of people love to scratch. Going all the way back to like Jerry Springer. I remember growing up and not being allowed to watch Jerry Springer, but still ended up watching it and just getting like fuel and adrenaline and a rush from just violence and the rage and anger. And I see it today now, but I think it's crazy. I think, don't why are you posting videos? And I think it makes you look stupid. I think it's one thing if back in the day, yeah, watching Jerry Springer as a kid, I didn't understand it. I thought like, oh wow, this is cool. I think we're always just surrounded by violence, even all the way into the wrestling. It's a form of entertainment, to the boxing and everything. But when people are on Facebook and Instagram and they get off by showing someone either getting jumped, getting ambushed, or getting dragged because maybe it's a skinny person fighting a person twice their size. It's just like, how does that satisfy you? What satisfaction do you get out of posting videos like that? I never understood it, and I just think it kind of sends off the wrong message. And this is what gets people kind of fired up in the wrong way and kind of influences people to feel like it's okay to fight. And I mean, it's the most ratchet ass videos. When I tell you, it's just, I've seen like videos of people getting ran over by cars and just basic shit. And I'm like, I'm big on, you have to be careful what you feed your brain, and that includes what you watch. And it's okay to watch shows knowing that it is a show, it's scripted, the writing is good, but when you're watching reality stuff, it can go to your subconscious and kind of make you start to think like, this is how reality should be. We see it on social media. Social media, just with posting, some people think that, oh wow, this is how my life should be based off of what I see on social media. I see people taking vacations. I see people shopping and at the club and living this life. And that's what causes, in the long term, depression and anxiety and just feeling like you're not worthy. So I feel like watching videos like this also sends off the wrong message. Why we gotta post videos of just violence and sin and negativity? Why can't we post videos of, I don't know, soldiers being reunited with dogs more or some shit like that? But I never sit well when I see these videos, and I even take it as far as I'll just unfriend the person, whoever they may be, or unfollow them, because it's not something that I want to see. Especially if, let's say, you get on social media first thing in the morning, you want to start your day off right. So the last thing you want to see is just an act of violence on something. And I'm glad that Facebook and Instagram has now introduced the filter where tap here if you want to see it, but this is graphic content. I'm glad that they kind of had added that instead of us just scrolling and we just happen to come across it. But I just don't get it. I don't know why we gotta be promoting all the violence and shit. We deal with enough in this country, and I feel like I say that so much. We deal with so much in this goddamn country and our everyday lives, and we're all trying to make it, and we're all trying to do great things for ourselves and for our loved ones. So you got to be careful with what you feed your brain. You want to make sure that you're feeding it with things that are going to help you grow. One of the things that I do is I like to watch, with my spiritual ass, I like to watch YouTube videos, motivational videos. Sometimes when I'm at the gym, I listen to those motivational videos where it's a speaker kind of yelling into my ear saying, you can do it, you're a champion, get shit done, don't, face fear. Because I know that it's going past my conscious to my subconscious, and eventually I'm going to listen to it. The more I listen to it, the more I believe it, the more I am it. So I don't get into these videos of the fight. So I think people should be more aware of what they post, because it kind of gives off a reflection of who you are as a person and how you think and how you see life. And if you're posting all these fights or just tacky ass shit like that, it kind of shows that maybe you are shrouded in some negative energy and you just need to be kind of break that. But I don't know what it could be. All I know is that I don't like seeing that shit, so stop posting it. Point blank, period. That's it for me versus the media. Like I said, y'all don't hate me. It's all love, because I know I've seen people who are my friends that do it. Just stop doing it. It ain't cool and it ain't cute. Like, post something else. Post the keys to your new house, or the keys to your new car, or, you know, the last 4 digits of your social so I can go in that 401k or some shit like that. Just kidding. Just kidding. I ain't no scammer. But that's it. I hope you all enjoyed this show. I really wanted to be a little bit more selective with the topics for this week, because, you know, I like to dip and dab into thought-provoking conversation on how people view things. So I had a good time. I hope y'all did too. No further announcements this week. I don't have, well, the shout out that I have would go directly to my mom with Mother's Day coming up. My mom is a beast and she is just a survivor. And my mom is like, she is a goddamn champion. So big shout out to my mom for always inspiring me. Like, she has done it on her own. She is a strong woman, like just such a strong woman, a big motivational person, just a big motivational being. And she just, you know, she's the reason why I keep pushing to do great, because I want to do great by her and I want to do great for her. She's the reason why my brother and I are just doing what we got to do. And she raised us so well. So like I said, whooping my ass or not, Mom, I love you. And just thank you for being you. And thank you for just being this vibrant soul that will open your door to anyone. And going through the struggle that you've gone through, you still have always remained humble. So happy Mother's Day to you, Mom, and happy Mother's Day to all the great mothers out there doing great things. You know, y'all are beasts. Y'all are strong and like no other. So standing ovation to all of you amazing mothers. That wraps up the show. Another good show, episode 28. If you have any questions regarding the topics and the segments I went over today, definitely reach out with your opinion. whiskeyandwe@gmail.com. Be sure to follow the Instagram, Whiskey and We. Also follow the Twitter. And where am I located again? I'm located on YouTube for audio, iTunes, obviously. Like, subscribe, comment, rate. I appreciate all the love that I'm getting. Like I said, numbers don't lie, and it's showing that you listeners will keep coming back and you're wanting more. So I'm extremely humble, extremely thankful. I will see y'all next week. Happy Mother's Day.